part of the Press Play Podcast Network.
Welcome, everybody, to Podcast 616, the official podcast of Earth 616. I am your host, Damon Royster, and today, you're welcome. We're talking about it. Captain America, Winter Soldier, a.k.a. the one we can all agree is good. Everyone knows this is a good one. We disagree a lot in the MCU, but we all agree that Winter Soldier is good and great. And we're going to talk about it today. I am joined by two wonderful guests who said yes to this. I'm surprised. They could be anywhere else, but they chose to be here on a Saturday morning here in LA. Our first guest, they are an actor, writer, and profound comedian. They are the funniest person I've ever met in my life. They're so funny, and they will tell you that to your face. Here come the jokes. Here is Ben Cumings. Ben, how are you doing today?
Hey, gang, doing great.
Oh, he sounds like a comedian. Oh, boy.
Oh, man. Hold your sides, y'all. It's we're in for a ride. Our other guest is a actor and podcaster. Man, I've acted with them. I have acted with you. Yeah. And I've podcasted with you.
Yep.
What a storied history. Please welcome Tim Lyons, everybody.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh, my gosh. Literally.
That was so normal. That was a soothing
Well, it's because I didn't say
voice.
I was a comedian. You got set up. You had to come in like, whoa, it's Ben on the ones and twos.
Yeah, I didn't bring my soundboard. What a
Hit the
mistake.
cymbals right away.
Yeah, we'll get in some air horn sounds for you.
Yeah.
You know, the go-to comedian sound.
Oh, yeah.
Ben Cumings, I'm going to go to you first. Captain America, Winter Soldier, you came in here saying it was really good. I think you said that. But
yes.
Why do you like Captain America, the Winter Soldier? What's so great about it?
It's a good movie. It's like well-paced. I watched it again over 2 nights right before this recording. And you know what really struck me about it is that it's like, yes, the plot is cool, the villain's cool, great twist, but it kind of all lives and dies on Chris Evans is great. He's like so good in this role.
Good. Yeah.
Because it like when you think about they're going to reboot, they're going to do like new superhero franchises. You do Captain America. Obviously, that runs the risk of like being the hokiest, most corny shit ever. And then the flip side of that is, I think, even more dangerous. It's like if they made him like gritty, like a Batman, like a really tough, because that was so popular at the time. And instead, they struck the right balance and they got the right guy. So that's, I think, is the secret sauce of this movie.
Is Chris Evans.
It is Chris Evans.
I would agree. Stunning man in his own right. Tim Lyons, what works for you for Winter Soldier? Are you into this whole like spy thriller element that's going on?
Yeah, I think that's why I like it so much. It's more of like an espionage flick than it is like than it feels like a superhero movie. Like nobody in it has like super. I mean, I guess Captain America has superpowers, but it's still like on the base level. It's a bunch of spies like running around, you know, backstabbing each other. At the very end of it, it opens up the MCU a little bit more, where it shows it's got the stinger of the twins. So it's starting to be like, oh damn, this is going to be we're getting real here. But yeah, I think just the relationship between Bucky and Captain America coming back is also very, very sweet, very nice. And again, I also agree with that. Chris Evans is just he kills it. He's incredible in this role, and he's a progressive king, like through and through. You know, he's anti 1984. He's anti Watchdog. Yeah, he's anti Shield. Like he's like get out, get big government out of here. So that's kind of that's the vibe I took away in watching it. And some of the things he says in dialogue wise, I was like, oh damn, a little bit of a progressive superhero here, and you see that in Civil War too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh god, I have that ahead of me. But yeah, sorry everybody, hot take. I love this movie. It's my number one. Sorry to be the contrarian, but it's so good. I think on hopping on the Chris Evans trains, I think he really works as this man out of time. I always find that funny of someone, you know, doing this anachronistic character, I guess, for lack of a better term. But him not being from this time period is so funny to me. His little list of things that he's got to catch up on, including Marvin Gaye's Trouble Man. I think it always works and it's always funny. So let's dive into this movie. Ben Cumings, you really aggressively came on this Zoom call and talked about your gym workout routine. How often are guys lapping you when you're going for a run?
This is why I only do it on the treadmill because I can't be lapped.
Yeah.
And also because I have flat feet and there's a lot of gradual hills in LA, so I got to stay on the treadmill.
Damn.
So I couldn't have served with Captain America in 1941, although I would have. Good war.
The only
Good war.
Yeah, that's the one we can agree on. That there was definitely an enemy. There's a bad enemy, and we had to kill them Nazis.
Exactly right.
I would agree, even though what a horrible thing to say, but it's true. I mean, look how many like properties have been built around World War II. What does World War I have? 1917? What else?
Well,
Season 2 of
World War
Downton
II
Abbey.
World War II didn't have the internet, and I feel like with the rise of the internet and wars happening at the same time, you can really see like atrocities being committed. Whereas like, World War II was like, we were only getting what America was sending back. So it was all like, everyone's a hero, everyone's doing the good shit. But it's mostly just like jotted down in history books what happened. And since we won, we got to write it.
Yeah. And they packaged it well in like the newsreels. Because it was like kind of fun. You can say like, take that, Fritz.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's that voice. It's the voice we all know. It's the not Caesar comment, it's the Conan O'Brien comedy voice.
Yeah.
Ladies, say goodbye to you fellas. They're serving the nation.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And that's why it was a good war.
Mm-hmm. That's
okay.
Okay. In that regard, you are right.
Okay. I guess I'm getting pushback on this. I guess you guys think it wasn't a just war.
Ben, you're putting your own back against the wall. I just want to point that out.
I am. I can do this all day.
Heyo. Tim Lyons. Anthony Mackie plays Sam Wilson, the Falcon.
Yeah.
Do you agree with this casting choice?
Absolutely. I think he's incredible, and it only gets better, as the movies go on, and especially with him and I can't remember the actor's name, but Bucky and the Winter Soldier, Falcon Winter Soldier.
Oh, yeah.
When you get a little depth of the character, I mean, he's just great, and he plays a great like wingman too.
Yeah, and hilariously, very on the nose.
He got the wings.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
got the wings.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of times you can give like a side character nothing to do, which I think kind of what happened with War Machine in Iron Man 2.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of showed up, did a couple things, but I feel like Anthony Mackie, they gave his character a lot to do. He had a lot of cool like fight scenes and action scenes, especially because the last hour of this movie is pure action. It's just not.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. So I think it was perfectly cast. Does a great job.
And then Ben Cumings, you read the comic books, yes?
Yes, and I reread a little bit of the Ed Brubaker 2004 run where they brought back the Winter Soldier in anticipation.
You hearing this guy? Hold on. So tell me. Oh, you mean this?
Yeah, that's the omnibus edition, right? I think that's exactly the one I'm reading.
Completely
for the folks at home, I was looking at the cover of the omnibus edition.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I censor. I got a nude edition of it, but nice. Ben Cummings, I wanted to ask you, how is this version of Falcon compared to what we get in the comic books? Is it
I think
accurate?
He like looks exactly like the Ultimate version, like the more modern universe they started in the early 2000s. But characterization wise, I think he's more fun. I think they do a better job. A lot of the Marvel movie characters, like supporting roles, are, I think, a little bit more fleshed out than their comic book counterparts sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Because I think there's a chip on Falcon's shoulder in the comics, or like the writers, chip on the writer's shoulders about him being like a second fiddle to Captain America. Whereas in this one, it's kind of, they're more like partners. He's like helping Captain America. It's not like in the sense of like he's the one who can provide Captain America with a safe house. He's the one who's brave. He's cool. And he's down to earth, instead of being like a guy who telepathically talks to birds and wears like a crazy 70s costume and has been around with him for like 30 years. It's fun to see them meet.
Yeah, that's the thing. He could psychically talk to an actual Falcon.
Yeah.
He's also a team player. Like, I feel like he's an absolute team player. It's like Captain America comes. Captain America's got like true superpowers. It's like this guy and clearly like is in a position of leadership. Like he's just like, that's how his mind works. And I feel like he's like, okay, great. I'm going to follow this guy. He seems like the hero of the story, and I'm just going to play my part here.
Oh yeah. Totally. I talked about this in Captain America 1, but like the retroactive feels that I get from hearing On Your Left, because we know.
That pays off.
Pays off, baby. And also, I really like where we're at in the MCU, where like the Avengers movie has already happened, so like everybody knows. Like there doesn't be like, so Steve Rogers, wait a minute, are you Captain America? He knows who he is, and he knows who Black Widow is, and so I just love that like shorthand, like Anthony Mack is like, yeah, you're the Avengers. I know exactly who you are. Black Widow shows up, picks up Captain America. They go on a trip to boats. Pirates have taken over a boat.
Yes.
Tim Lyons, how did this action sequence, lack of a better word, hit you when you watched it?
It was great. I mean, I forgot how cool it is to watch Captain America whip that shield around. I mean, you see it. You saw it happen in the Avengers, stuff like that. But it's very cool. And the choreographed fighting in this movie is really good. Like, and especially because like it's like him with Black Widow, and they're doing the whole thing. But yeah, I feel like everybody kind of got a chance to show their stuff in this first opening sequence.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. I just love him like secretly taking people out on the boat. I mean, this whole movie.
He's like going like lunatic mode. He like kicks a guy and like breaks his spine on the side of a boat, and the guy like flies another 40 feet. I felt like that scene, they were like, we got to show the audience that this guy's not like a Boy Scout. He's like hardcore.
Yeah. But they still don't really necessarily show him killing anybody. I don't think there's any lights out like he's not like
he doesn't snap any necks.
Shield, and the shield doesn't go through anybody's neck or anything like that. They're going really hard with the necks, but
I think it's just the one guy he kicks so hard off the boat. Yes. I'm like, that guy's
dead. If the fall didn't kill him, the water killed him, and something happened. But yeah.
Oh yeah, and like all the people that were like in those jets that got taken down, I'm sure they have some internal bleeding going on. Like
oh yeah, they're gone.
He's not directly
compared
killing
to like
them.
Black Widow, guns out. Like she just shoots people in the face and like shoots people, and she's killing people with her guns.
Yeah, but they did take over that boat without asking. So
that's true.
That's the law.
Yeah.
Ben Cumings, how did you enjoy? I looked him up. His supervillain name is the Leaper, but I like to call him Bon Voyage. Shout out to my incredible. Do you ever see The Incredibles?
No, I don't watch stuff for children. I only watch Marvel Cinematic Universe films.
Man, what a turnoff of a person!
It's a joke. They're all for children. I haven't seen The Incredibles in like 10 years.
But do you understand my hilarious reference?
That he's a Frenchman, this crazy Batroc the Leaper character? Is that the reference? Yes, he is French. And it's my favorite worst line in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a whole is the big reveal that Captain America can speak French, which of course makes sense. He fought in World War II.
War.
But it's Chris Evans going like, on va voir. I don't know. It's like so like weirdly, clearly someone gave him like a phonetic thing that said VOIR is pronounced VWA.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be like badass. But
he's got a lot of lines.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of lines,
Yeah. But that fight scene is cool. I mean, Batroc the Leaper is like, whatever. This guy leaps around. That's his thing.
So he has superpowers?
I think he just likes to leap around.
Okay.
So he's like,
well, because he was getting as good as he was getting, but he seemed like he got a lot more at the end there. I mean, he got like punched the fuck out.
Yeah, maybe
he was not as strong as the other super soldier that is introduced later in the movie.
I guess so. Yeah, because it's kind of unclear because Captain America can like one-handed throw a motorcycle, but can also like end up having trouble like fighting a human being, like a regular person, hand to hand.
Yeah,
it's a little unclear, but maybe he is a super soldier. In any case, it's really funny that he's like this weird French MMA guy who like can't act, but then got brought back for like a bunch of movies and clearly took lessons in between. It's fun to watch him evolve in the MCU.
He's in the first episode of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I think there's like another cameo. Maybe I'm imagining that, but
he must have been really fun on set. They must have loved
guess so.
Hanging out with him.
To feel good as that actor, just keep getting that phone call.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, hey, they want you to get your ass kicked again. I'm there.
It's like, mon Dieu, I'll be back. So okay, we're on this fucking boat, taking out these baddies. Then there's some tension. There's some tension going on between Black Wids and Cap. Tim Lyons. I feel like for me as a Marvel podcaster, this is my first time talking about something that Black Widow is in. So interesting. But Tim Lyons, how are you with Black Widow? How do you feel about her? I feel a certain way. How do you feel?
I'm fine with Black Widow. I don't think. I mean, I like that. I like that she gets more play in these types of movies, like where it is like the Shield stuff, the espionage stuff. And I feel like this was the part of the movie where, like, things started to splinter off a little bit, where he's like, I don't know as much about this mission as I think I should. And she's like, well, I've got my own mission. In some ways, I agree with, when two people are on a different mission, she's a spy. He's there to protect.
She's got to download stuff off LimeWire.
Yeah, like she's doing her job. And in my mind, I'm kind of like, yeah, get your LimeWire. Don't download a virus, but get what you need. But she did jeopardize the mission. They ended up, the Leaper leapt a grenade into their face and blew them up.
Did you say he leapt a grenade?
Yeah, that's his thing.
He only leaps.
When he throws something, he's like, leper. That's how you know it's him. You're like, that's exactly, we know who it is.
Someone leaped.
Yeah, someone leapt. Overall, I'm pro, and I did see the Black Widow movie too, and I think that movie was probably just like too little, too late. Like I just didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
But I think she probably deserved a movie much earlier. I mean, Hulk got 2 movies prior to this. Why not Black Widow set that whole story up?
Absolutely.
I think it'd make her hit harder as a character.
For sure.
Yeah.
What's the way you feel about her, Damon?
She's too sneaky. Okay. She honestly reminds me of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Because you know how Willy Wonka had all these secrets, but he wouldn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
She's very Willy Wonka to me, and I don't like it. I feel like, I don't know. It's weird to me that she was just in Avengers 1 with Captain America, and they were facing down Loki and all these alien invaders, and now they're like, oh, now we don't trust each other. I'm like, what are you talking about? You were shoulder to shoulder against the biggest threat the world has ever seen, but now you're like, oh, I don't know if I can trust this man. I don't know. It just was, I think she's sneaky for the sake of being sneaky, and her hair is weird. It's like always straight.
Hair very weird wigs, every single movie. Worst one is Iron Man 2, but
agreed. Her first movie.
Why no fun Russian accent? Can't ScarJo be doing like a little more with the character? She's just like very cool, competent, and like that's like it. You know what I mean?
I feel like she's kind of just playing herself with some lines, some sassy lines.
Yeah, that's her. She's in the movie. We're gonna keep talking about her, but maybe I'm foreshadowing where I'm gonna go with my picks at the end of this, but we'll see. But I think now we go into Cap and Nick Fury. This reveal of these warships. I'm just gonna say I think these warships were a little cumbersome for what they were trying to do.
Yeah. It's what I guess the idea is they fly in the sky and then they individually shoot like 1 million people at a time who are being like free thinkers.
Right.
They have that option. They also have Wi-Fi.
Yeah. It's just like, because once they go and do their thing, everyone's going to know. It's like, oh, that fucking ship shot my friend. Like,
yeah,
look at it in the sky. It's so huge.
This is skipping to the end, but they were about to shoot people in New York City from the Potomac, like from Washington, D.C. They're going to make some real Hail Marys. Somebody's getting caught in the crossfire, but I guess these bad guys just simply don't care.
Right. That's why they're so bad.
Yeah.
Hydra don't give a fuck. Ben Cummings, how are you with Nick Fury in this movie?
I remarked upon seeing Nick Fury in this movie to my girlfriend who I was watching it with, and I was like, they really like lucked out. Like getting Sam Jackson, it doesn't work with literally any other actor, including David Hasselhoff, who played him in the 80s. It's like,
oh God,
like he's the glue. And I forgot how much because he's not in the movies as much anymore. But back then he was like keeping it all together. Such a cool, fun character. And I love the little trench coats and the boots and the slimming back black turtlenecks.
Very slimming. Yes.
Great costuming. And I mean, it's just a vehicle for Sam Jackson to like lean in close to the camera and say like hateful shit to people. So it's like, it's a match made in heaven. I think it's perfect. It's the perfect level of cheese.
Yeah. And I think there's some fun retroactive cheese because in this movie, I noticed he said the line, last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye. But we know that he lost an eye because the little kitty cat scratched his eye out.
True.
That's hilarious to me now.
Yeah. That's his big threat.
Yeah. I trusted that cat.
He trusted the cat. Now he doesn't trust anybody since.
The cat took my eye.
It's a metaphor for everybody.
It's the pre-cat, post-cat Nick Fury.
Yeah. Pre-cat, Nick Fury loved cat. He trusted
he's
everyone.
like a nice guy, Captain Marvel.
He trusts no cat. Tim Lyons, I want to go to you.
Sure.
Has this ever happened to you where you're like walking through your favorite museum and there's a whole exhibit centered around you?
No, I mean, I'm hoping for it someday in the future. That's my ultimate goal in acting, is to get my own museum exhibit, to do enough that they can fill a whole thing with it. But
What do you think it's going to look like?
I mean, I'm sure it'll be orange in some sense. People like to go right for my hair. The hair color is the thing that most people associate me with.
I know I do.
But gosh, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's going to have an exhibit where like my weight changes a bit. Like I go from like a skinny little kid to a chubby high schooler after eating a lot of Burger King. Burger King's going to be featured in there for sure. There's definitely going to be the Burger King years. It's just going to be like, Tim used to have a friend who was a manager of Burger King who would give him free food all the time, and that's how he gained 150 pounds.
Wow.
And then the pandemic happens, loses a bunch of weight, and then and then I guess it'll start here
with this podcast. You think this podcast is good?
Yeah. This is where the museum gets the idea.
Beautiful. Well, I liked it. I like this as like a recap of Captain America 1. Sorry, listener, if you haven't seen the movie. Captain America goes to his, I would go to my own museum exhibit. I would do that. And
I think you gotta check it out. Just make sure they got everything right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think he has someone who he can like tell and is like, that's not correct. Like, I killed 48 Nazis on that mission.
I would love to see the scene where he's looking for the museum curator and being like, actually, this fact is not correct.
Can you change that?
For him. Yeah,
I'm from Brooklyn, not Queens. Yeah. So we get that. This is the first time we see Bucky in stock footage. Again, Sebastian Stan is only attractive to me in Captain America 1. Never again.
Oh, you don't like the greasy long hair?
Yeah, funnily enough, I don't. I also hate the haunted, I've killed numerous people energy he gives off.
It's a turn off.
A big turn off. Ben Cummings, speaking of turning on and off, were you turned on or off at old Peggy Carter?
I was deeply turned off. That was sad, man. Like she also again lives and dies on one thing, which is the how convincing the old people performance is, whether the makeup is good enough and whether her old person voice is good enough. And I think she nailed it.
Oh yeah, Haley Atwell.
Yeah, when Haley Atwell gets nailed with the dementia at the end, she's like, "Wait, where am I? You came back." It's like, oh, that's actually quite affecting. This is one of the better emotional beats in a Marvel film.
I didn't realize how much of the makeup was CGI.
Is that right?
Noticed it.
Was it?
I really noticed it this time. Like I thought that it was good makeup, but there's definitely some CGI going on. With the eyes for sure, a little bit around the mouth. Like the mouth is kind of moving weird. I was like, oh, I thought, because I know they've done CGI in more newer movies, but I thought like this was one of the first ones where they were just like, we're gonna go full practical, and I was like, no, they did not. So that took me out of it a little bit in that moment.
All right, take back what I said about the makeup being good. Actually,
the acting
is great.
Wow. Ben Cummings, no, I'm going to keep that in. You love the makeup.
Yeah, I did.
Speaking of acting, were you or were you not floored to see Robert Redford?
Yeah, what is going on? Why did he say, I mean, I know why he said yes, money, but it's really funny watching this movie because he's great. He's still like beautiful, even with the ridiculous dyed hair.
Oh, yeah.
He's got that great voice, but then every once in a while you'll hear him say a line that like you can feel him be pained to say, like, Captain America just took the bridge or whatever, and like you can feel that he's like he's in an ADR booth, like, oh man, shouldn't have signed up for this.
I'm the Sundance Kid. Fuck.
That's great.
Or is he Butch Cassidy? Is he Butch Cassidy or the Sundance Kid? Wow.
It's been a while since I've seen it.
Stunned.
And I've only seen it once.
Wow. I can't believe you guys don't know this. I don't know it either.
Bring us onto your podcast and then stump us.
Yeah. And at this part
with a completely unrelated movie.
Yeah, you're right. I only asked you to watch one movie. Fair. So you got Redford in the mix. I think it helps to give the film this like gravitas that like, oh fuck, they got Redford.
Yeah, and
Redford's
it's like
Winter Soldier.
It's like a callback to all the movies they're trying to like pay homage to. It's like 3 Days of the Condor or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So,
was he in The Manchurian Candidate?
Probably. I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Probably. We're gonna fact, we're gonna fact check that. I'm just trying to get us through these characters. Man, there's a support group for veterans. Lovely. I enjoyed Anthony Mackie connecting with Steve Rogers because, like, Steve hasn't really had a post-war friend because he kind of like went into the ice during the war. So it's nice that Sam can connect with him as like, hey, I know what you're going through.
Mm-hmm.
We all fought in that war. Okay. Tim Lyons, has this ever happened to you where you're just driving down the street and a whole squadron of police shoot up your car? And how did you get out of it?
Nothing so serious, but I have been pulled over before late night because I was wearing a beanie and I was driving a kind of a beat up Oldsmobile, and they pulled me over for a light out, and the cop was aggressive, as they are and as they shouldn't be. For no reason, and I was kind of like, oh god, this is not good. I was driving home from my girlfriend's house. I had dropped her off. We kissed.
Oh,
Yeah, this was in high school.
nice.
Yeah, but that's been my really only run-in with the law that involves cars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I want to know about.
Yeah.
But thank you. That was my subtle way of talking about this amazing scene. I love this scene with Nick Fury in this car chase. The music is fucking phenomenal. Ben Cummings, what did you think of this scene?
Well, Tim was saying how they did a great job of like giving Falcon cool stuff to do, which I agree with. Like in later movies, there's too many characters and everyone only gets like a half second of like their big cool moment. But in this one, like every supporting character gets like huge, like there's a whole set piece of just Nick Fury being like a tactical genius. Great. They even throw in a little joke about the air conditioning.
I love that. Yeah.
Everyone in the theater in 2014 was like, come on, not also, now, computer.
I loved his reaction to not react to that. Because he says that line, he goes, does anything work? And they go, air conditioning is like online, and he's just kind of like still stone faced. Where I feel like there is a take where he could have been like, oh man, like come on, that type of thing, where he just like didn't react to it. And I was like, I appreciated that. That was more in character than like to react to that line as like it was a silly thing for the car to say.
They had the restraint not to have him say, oh come on.
That truly that is a lot of restraint.
It would.
I mean, Ben, you're a comedian.
Yeah, it's the exact kind of thing I would write since I'm a writer as well.
Oh, right. I forgot about that part. Because I mostly know you as a comedian. Ben, could you, for us as a comedian, could you give us how would you do this scene as a comedian?
Well, instead of propulsion systems, it would, under the car, there would be a big spring. And it would spring up the SUV and it'd be wobbling because that's like a funny, then it looks like a toy. And toys are funny. Jack in the Box kind of things are funny. And I would also have Nick Fury be dressed as a clown, sort of like a bozo type.
Oh yeah, just because.
Yeah, and the guns would be spraying silly string because that's also humorous, really kind of funny stuff.
And still dangerous if they're spraying it on your car window. You can't see.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. It's about impaired vision.
Then this over dramatic bitch gets in the middle of the road wearing this face mask before we knew how important those were. And what does he shoot? Some kind of disc?
Yeah, he shoots the disc sticky bomb that's going to not completely destroy the car, but just make it fly up in the air.
Yeah.
Give it a Dark Knight flip. So like the Dark Knight flip is what I call that now. When the back of the car goes ass up and then flips on its head.
Yeah. Face down, ass up for the car. Tim Lyons, were you scared of the Winter Soldier? Was this scary?
I mean, I think I would have been spooked for sure. It was a great reveal because all this crazy shit happened. You know, Fury just like goes up against like 50, 60 guys with his machine gun in the car. You think he's about to get out, and then that disc comes flying out, and then you're like, oh, this is the true threat. I didn't think he was going to get out of it at that point either. So I forgot how like intense that scene is. But it's a very I don't understand why they slapped the star on his arm. It's kind of a dead giveaway. They're like, where's this guy from? Oh, he's from he's Hydra. He's from Russia. He's from the Soviet Union. But other than that, I mean, it's a very, very cool reveal. You're like, oh, this is a dope ass villain. Like the all black with the silver arm was very cool.
Rips that fucking door off.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, is that a metal arm? Oh, it's a fucking metal arm.
Yeah, and they give the little special effects
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
I mean, Ben Cummings, as a comic book fan, how effective is the one arm? I feel like, did anyone play Mortal Kombat? Remember Jax?
Sure,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Jax had
Two
the
metal-
double.
Yeah, double.
Mhm.
I feel like producer Michael Lee agrees. I feel like one metal arm. I mean, it works for him, but I feel like it's just not enough. Ben Cummings, what do you think?
Whatever reason, the comic books love the one thing
Just the
because
one, yeah.
it's like then you're overpowered if you have two metal arms. You might as well be a full robot. You know.
Mhm.
But Hellboy's got the one big stone hand.
He
Mhm.
does,
People like the one thing. But I think it's a cool, storytelling wise, you get to cut it off all the time. You can do it whenever, and it's fine. You can go back to the status quo after.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, it's a cool design for this, character that's, as much as I love Ed Brubaker, great writer, I mean, he's a complete ripoff of Manchurian Candidate. It's just like, all right, put that in superheroes, which I feel like is half the time how they write characters in comic books. It's like, all right, Kraven the Hunter, it's just the most dangerous game, but in comic books. You know what I mean? You just take like other concepts and put it into superheroes.
Oh,
Yeah, and I think it's great.
We're doing that all the time. Like Succession is just King Lear. That's Shakespeare for you.
Oh, okay.
Sorry to flex on you like that. I've read it. I actually own it. Anyway, Ben Cummings said comic books do a lot of one thing, and this podcast is going to do one thing, and that one thing is take a break. So we're going to take a break.
Wow.
Seamless.
I didn't see that coming at all. Twist.
Thank you. Don't ever compliment my transitions. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back, talk about more of this movie and my favorite character, Emily Van Camp, playing Agent 13. What a dream snake woman she is. Anyway, we'll talk about it after this break, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Sam Post, owner of Phenomenal CBD Store and PhenomenalCBD.com. That's like phenomenal, CBD.com. Tune in where we talk with experts about how the amazing hemp plant can make a difference for people's health and well-being from the Press Play Podcast Network.
Welcome, everyone, to Podcast 616, the official podcast of Earth 616. I am your host, Damon Royster, and I am inviting you to listen and subscribe to this Marvel Cinematic Universe podcast. On Podcast 616, we gather some of today's greatest comedians, writers, and actors to dive deep into all things Marvel, like comic book history and lore, all the interconnected superhero storylines, and of course, who's hot and who's not in the MCU. Honestly, why aren't you listening right now? You have the power to listen to Podcast 616. And as we always say, with great power comes even greater responsibility. Listen and subscribe to Podcast 616 wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, Brooks here with the Books with Brooks monthly book club podcast. Here's how Books with Brooks works. We read one book a month and then we talk about it. Classics like Stephen King's The Shining, debut novels like We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang, and tons of other compelling, life-changing stories, one book and 1 month at a time. So come read along with us and then listen in.
And we're back. I love doing laundry. That's how I want to start.
I thought you were honestly about to do an ad.
I love doing laundry, and I love it even more with Tide to Go.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Tim Lyons. You just moved to Los
Yep.
Angeles. Talking about your building setup, do you have a setup where you have an in-unit washer dryer, but your neighbors do not? How does this work?
I do not have it, and none of our neighbors have an in-unit washer dryer. Ours is down some steps. It's honestly in a place that you wouldn't even think. It just looks like it's kind of in a load-bearing structure. You wouldn't think that there's a door back there, but there is. I haven't had to do laundry. Like my previous place in Chicago had in-unit laundry. I stayed with my mom for a while, so she had laundry machines, so I was using those.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You get the laundry done, bro?
She had the Samsungs. The Samsung double stack.
Woo!
But I didn't realize that laundry now it works through an app. Does anybody use the laundry apps that they have? It connects via Bluetooth. I don't ever have to use quarters. I can just put it in. Now, this has nothing to do with the movie.
No.
But I just think it's an interesting.
No, I
way to do
have
laundry
that
now.
too, and it's the exact kind of system that Hydra could hack to
Mhm.
create
Exactly, yeah.
their scary algorithm to figure out whether or
Yet
not I'm a free
Ben
thinker.
has it. Is Ben Hydra? Sorry. I'm just, this movie makes you a little bit paranoid.
Yeah, this is what it's supposed to do, and you'll never know.
Damn.
I was taken aback with this scene how she shuts him down pretty hard, but also leaves it open because her line is like, she's like, I should do it downstairs, but also I'd like to still keep this on the table. There's almost there's almost like too much rat-a-tat going on. I feel like if I were Captain America, I'd be like, which? So no, yes, no, yes, no.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially, I'm trying to flirt again, and you're making it very difficult.
Yeah.
So that just really bothered me. He was like, you could do laundry in my unit. And she's like, oh, I already have some downstairs. So I'm like, is it because he's Captain America? They gave him an in-unit. It must be. The government gave him in-unit laundry.
For his years of service.
Yeah.
I think that's a misuse of government funding, but that's
You
just
at least
me.
deserve something. You deserve to do your own laundry.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
I think he should have a laundry service. This is beyond the point. Anyway, that's Sharon Carter, played by Emily Van Camp, from the hit ABC series Revenge, in which she got revenge. What a great season 1. And that's the end of my sentence. Check out season 1 of Revenge and then stop, please. We then get this whole sequence where S.H.I.E.L.D. is compromised and Nick Fury shows up. He fully gets shot 3 times in the chest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, after being in the worst car chase accident of all time. Yeah, he takes a beating.
Damn. What I'll say is I think I like that Marvel can do like serious tone stuff. So I love the tone of this. Like it's always like it's taut. This is a taut thriller, and I'm really excited for the Disney Plus series Secret Invasion that's coming up. And I feel like it seems like they're going to go for a similar tone to this. So I'm very excited for that. But then we get this chase scene. Tim Lyons, how did this chase scene work for you? Did it?
This is the chase scene with the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, and
right?
like Captain America is like comically bursting through doors.
I thought it looks awesome. Like it truly. And I especially like the part where he's going so fast that he can't stop himself and he slams into the sidewall and it's like, oh, this dude's just like, he's out of control right now. It shows that like this Fury thing actually like really affected him. But it also has this dope moment where the metal arm comes into play and he catches that shield and then whips it back at him and he's like, oh, this is also a super soldier. So yeah, I think this was very cool. And also I liked that it was kind of nighttime-ish, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
So it doesn't, the CG looks legit in this movie. I feel like anytime it doesn't look as like on green screen as some of the newer ones do, because they start streamlining stuff. They're like, we got to start pumping these things out. So the practical effects kind of go out the window.
Especially in the Thor movies.
Yeah, right. So I feel like this, I'm never taken out of it by the special effects. Even though like sometimes you can see them, it's not so blatant in my face.
I guess they really did.
Yeah.
They had to like build a set of like destructible walls for an actor to like sprint through, which is probably the most fun job in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, incredible.
Also with doors just splintering everywhere.
How many takes do you get on that? To like just how many destructible doors? It's like, okay, we did one. You just busted through all these doors. Reset. It could take like 30 minutes to reset. Yeah, you gotta be on your shit. I think that's a plus to the choreography in this movie. It's just so tight.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and shout out to the Russo brothers. This is their first time directing a Marvel film, and they directed Endgame. Good for them. Yeah, beautiful shot of the Winter Soldier capturing the shield. We then go to the sequence where Nick Fury, quote unquote, dies. The sad. I'm so sorry. My notes immediately jump to the elevator fight. What happens in between this and then the fight on the elevator? Did I miss anything?
No, because he just like Nick Fury dies and then Captain America goes to talk to Robert Redford.
Yeah.
And then the elevator fight's on the way down from that.
Yeah.
This elevator fight fucking rocks. The way these like it just more and more men like suspiciously get on the elevator. And Cap clocks the sweat on the one guy. Ben Cumings, I feel like you've been beaten up a lot in your life. So how?
Yeah, I watched this after everyone to feel like I have some power again. But I really like it because there's like a couple guys that get on successively and they're in like different costumes to like throw off Captain America. Some of them are like little businessmen. Some of them are, but then like the last guys that get on is like the most hardcore looking, insane. Like I think he played like a Russian mercenary in a Batman movie, but like
it's a dead giveaway that
it's like, all right, these guys are like,
oh, this guy definitely
no need to like look at somebody's sweat on their temple, like this guy's about to kill you.
And those last guys that get on the elevator, they're like records, like they're going to the records room, like these dudes don't check records.
They're in tactical gear.
They're not checking out files.
One guy's got crazy eyes and he's got tactical gear on, like he's there for one reason and one reason only.
God. Baller fight.
The
Tim
line
Lyons
too, the line read from Captain America, unless this is what you're going to say, in which case
it was not. What is the line read? Give us the line read.
He says, before we get started, does anybody want to get off? I mean, it's probably the most badass thing you could say before kicking the shit out of 15 guys. I also like they tried to use those electronic handcuffs, or the magnetic handcuffs, and he's able to break. Yeah, there's just so many cool little things that happen in that. So many different like little weapons going off in that fight too, that like they just can't stop this guy.
Yeah.
I
was going to ask about the metal handcuffs. I love that because a lot of this movie, a lot of these bad guys in the movie fall prey to the thing of like, oh, I'm going to beat up Captain America. Like if you go into a fight thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to best Captain America, you're not going to beat Captain America. So I like that they came with these magnetic handcuffs. It's like, okay, they thought about it. They knew they couldn't take him.
There was a plan.
Yeah. So that happens. He knocks them all out. Fuck, I love the shot of him just surrounded by unconscious dudes. Beautiful. Does a little like kick flip to get the shield back.
Then jumps out the damn window.
God, I'm getting amped. God, he's in that fucking motorcycle. Takes out that helicarrier or whatever. Not helicarrier, whatever. The little
Quinjet or whatever. Yeah,
Quinjet. That's another thing where I was like, the person who flew that is definitely will die later. Like he probably didn't die, but he was in a plane crash. He's not going to be okay. We got the flash drive in the vending machine. Cap goes to get that, reconnects with Natasha. Then they do my favorite thing in these Captain America movies. Whenever he's incognito, he just wears a brown jacket and a baseball cap. This time he has glasses. Ben Cumings, what would be your hideout costume? Like if you were trying to be incognito, what would you wear?
It depends on the city I am in, I think. Because I think if I was in Chicago, I would put on a flannel and some like blue jeans and some Vans, and I would walk around like North Center. Yeah, Wrigleyville, wherever on the north side. Nobody's going to give me a second look. And in LA, I guess I'd have to wear some athleisure. That seems to be what everyone, when I'm out on the street, everyone making me feel bad about the way I'm dressed is in some athleisure. But I guess I'd have to be like shredded too.
Oh yeah, you can't leave.
No one's gonna bat an eye at a beautiful person in spandex.
Yeah, it's par for the course out here. Going to Tim Lyons, how mad are you when you watch comedians in Marvel movies? Like, do you get mad? Do you wish it was you? Like this Apple Store genius.
Yeah, honestly, I'm glad you mentioned this because he gives a great line read. I was catching a lot of line reads this watch through.
I've noticed.
And he gives a great line read at the end where he says, he's like, if you guys need any help, I've been David. Like, I've been David is like such a funny, I don't know if that was in the script. I got to imagine that was, he tossed in some spank on that because that was funny.
Tossed in some spank for sure.
But no, I would love to. I mean, that's ideal role for a goon who looks like me. I mean, that guy's got the same vibe I'm giving off. He's got a little bit creepier of a vibe going on with the very long string spaghetti hair and the beard. I've seen that guy in a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
I feel like that's where those are the roles he gravitates to.
And don't doubt yourself. I think you can creep it up just as much.
Absolutely. I just need to be given a chance. I need the right director.
Mhm.
I get a lot of Marvel stuff across my desk, and I turn a lot of it down because I'm like, I don't want to be a superhero. I want to be creepy guy number 3 at the Apple Store when they're doing the espionage scenes.
And that's why everyone respects you, Tim.
Thank you.
Ben Cummings, obviously going to go to you for this question. How's the romance between Black Widow and Captain America? Am I crazy, or did you feel that?
Well, they kiss and also like get really close to each other a lot and talk about bikinis. So it's there, but I like that they very quickly are like, all right, we're going to be friends. She's a sexy spy, and he's a nerdy virgin. So although She-Hulk confirmed he's not a virgin, but that's still like what? He had sex like 4 times. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. Took me 5 to learn what I was doing. And he, I like it because then they toy with it a little bit, they feel it out, and then he explicitly says, "How about a friend?" And then he friend zones the Black Widow, which is actually the coolest thing you could do.
I mean, they're all so hot. Their bodies are all so tight. Like, how could you? I feel like there's every other line is like a flirtation situation with these people. Yeah. I mean, if this were real life, these people it'd be a Love Island situation. Like everybody's kind of breaking off into pairs, then coming back out of it, that type of thing. I got to imagine that's what's going on,
of course,
in this comic book world.
Absolutely. Let's yada our way over to New Jersey. Oh, Ben, your hands are raised.
This scene rocks. I love this scene. I think it's so fun. Even though it's just an exposition dump. You know what I mean? It's like,
this changes everything. This changes the whole world as we knew it, that Hydra never went away.
Yeah, you want to talk about line reads. You get Toby Jones playing like a cartoon Nazi villain who's now a computer program, being like, "The Winter Soldier has been killing people all over the world for 70 years." It's like,
oh, hold on to that voice. You're going to need it soon.
That's good.
So yeah, this old ass computer with Zola comes out and basically informs us that Hydra has infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. ever since S.H.I.E.L.D. was created. If you were a fan of the TV show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., this was earth-shattering. God, love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got good, which sadly was 16 episodes into their 22-episode season 1 run. So
I was wondering what
yeah, it takes a while for it to get good. Sorry, y'all. But the scene is so good, and at this time, I would like to institute a acting challenge for my guests. This is where I will challenge you to do your best impression of a line from the movie, and I would love for us to do our impression of Zola, this computer screen, saying the line, "The answer to your question is fascinating. However, you will be too dead to hear it." That was a little Irish for my taste, but that's okay. That's okay. We're gonna do it anyway. So I'm going to go last, of course, to not embarrass you. So please, the answer to your question is fascinating. However, you will be too dead to hear it. Ben Cummings, you're already giving us some Zola action. So if you could go first, your interpretation, please.
Beep, boop, boop. The answer to your question is most fascinating. However, you shall be too dead to hear it.
Incredible.
I wasn't just playing the clip from the movie. That was coming out of my voice.
That was actually hit. Wow. I mean, I thought he was just a comedian, but there's so much more.
That was great.
Tim Lyons, going over you. My former co-star, please.
Here we go. The answer to your question is fascinating.
Ooh.
But too bad you'll be too dead to hear it.
There's a lot of like repressed rage that came through.
Yeah,
it's
almost a reveal. That one was more of a slow take to reveal.
That's what they call you. It's Tim Choice's Lyons.
Yeah.
It's true. TCL. All right. Do you want me to go?
Yes, please. By all means.
Okay. I think, Michael, you might know where I'm going with this, but here we go. The answer to your questions is fascinating. However, you will be too dead to hear it with my chocolates. Thank you so much.
Amazing.
Thank you again.
People who listen, call back to the Willy Wonka line that you gave earlier.
Tim, exactly. Fans of the podcast will have already heard this impression on the first Captain America podcast. I only got one German voice, and it's a little boy. So Zola, wonderful job. Thank you so much. Zola blows up the computer again. The villains in this are dramatic little turds. So we then, I think the next big thing is this when Robert Redford kills his maid.
I think it's around then.
Yeah, there's. I feel
Renata.
like things start moving
Renata.
here, so it's like, yeah.
Yeah. I think for any people who write film, this is when the bad guys close in. But Redford is tied to Winter Soldier. He's part of Hydra. Hydra runs deep. So Cap and Black Widow, they call it the Falcon. I'm going to visit him. Tim Lyons, I think since you have a similar hair color to Black Widow, I'm going to go to you with this question. What is the likelihood that Anthony Mackie, a black man, has a hair straightener for Scarlett Johansson's character to use?
It's probably low. It depends on who he has dated. I mean, I'm sure he's not straightening his hair, but it's very possible that, you know, he might have family members who have used his bathroom before and have that, or he's dated somebody who has left a hair straightener there. Although that is not something you typically bring to a significant other's place that you're dating, a hair straightener. Yeah,
it's just, you know, I'm keeping an eye on the wig, and you know, she takes a shower. She's got curly hair. She does a scene with Captain America. The very next scene, it's like a blowout. It's flat. It's like it's straight. Everything's fine. And you know, I'm just keeping an eye on it. Basically, yada yada yada. Falcon will team up with Cap and Black Widow for this mission. I feel Ben Cummings. I'm gonna check in with you. I feel like the movie starts becoming more of a Marvel movie after the Zola reveal. Do you feel like we've lost the spy thriller element at this point?
Yeah, I remember my dad hates anything fantastical, and he hated that the Lord of the Rings won Best Picture back in the day.
Damn.
I remember one time, because I always like these Marvel movies, I was like, you should watch some of them. Some of them are good. And I remember we were in like a hotel, and I was like, "Oh, Dad, Winter Soldier's on. You're gonna love this one. It's just like your favorite movies, like 3 Days of the Condor or whatever, like 70s political spy thrillers." And then I turned it on, and it was like the Winter Soldier and Cap like fighting with the knives and stuff. My dad was like, "I'm not watching this. This is so stupid." I felt very bad. But that's why I'm saying that pretty much from then on, it's like I think it's better than most Marvel movies because it's great fighting.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
fight choreo. But the point is this emotional through line between Cap and Bucky, even while the helicarriers are crashing and stuff. It's like it's not like Shang-Chi would be an example of one where it's like, wait, why is this CGI now?
Yeah, you know, why is there a dragon all of a sudden?
Yeah, feels earned, I guess. Industry fair. Jargon.
You're just saying jargon at this point.
Yeah.
Industry jargon.
Industry, yeah. Hey, we're all industry here. Gary Shandling shows up.
Oh, yeah.
R.I.P. to that man. Formerly, he was in Iron Man 2, playing the same character. They wanted to get Gary Shandling in to play just a disgusting man. Not only is he tied to a Nazi organization, but he's also fucking a 23-year-old girl. Not great. I'm sorry, Ben, to talk about your hero this way.
Yeah, that 23-year-old girl. I love her work.
Let's take it to the bridge fight. Tim Lyons, how did this bridge fight work with you? Also, the first time we get to see Falcon in action.
Yeah. There was a lot of bullets flying. I think that was my big takeaway is that Captain America, once he left, you know, he kind of gets blown away, right? That's the whole thing that happens. This is after the car chase scene. They rip the front of the car off. Am I correct in this?
I believe so, yes.
So he takes a grenade to the shield, gets blown off through a bus, by the way, which for sure somebody went down through that. Because then there are even more bullets flying because they're using the rail guns. And it's just like...
Just Capitol Hill interns. Just
like truly crazy. It always amazes me that nobody really takes a bullet, especially the heroes don't take any bullets when bullets are flying that hard. That took me out of it a bit on this particular scene. But other than that, loved it. Action packed. Yeah.
I love Black Widow with her little grappling hook shit going on. Here is where we have the Bucky reveal. That Bucky is in fact the Winter Soldier. Ben Cummings, were you surprised, or did I feel like I always knew that it was going to be Bucky.
Yeah, I mean, if you Googled The Winter Soldier, the title of the movie, then you would like get redirected to the Bucky Wikipedia article. So
Mhm.
I knew. But I think in the theater, like a lot of people were like, oh,
What? The hot guy from Gossip Girl? What? Tim Lyons, what would you do if your best friend, who I assume is your dog behind you, turned out to be an international assassin?
I mean, if
Like,
Robin,
how would-
my dog, turned out, I mean, I'd be devastated. I'd be heartbroken. Feel betrayed, because of how much love I give to her and how much support she gives to me over the years. So I'd be devastated, I think.
But could you forgive her?
God, I think I would like to help her find a way back.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm in the same boat as Captain America, where I'm like, oh, this person meant so much to me, and I think they're redeemable, or at least need to figure out what the hell, like why, that situation.
You got to figure out what
I need to
hell.
know the why before they put a bullet in my head. You know what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to figure that out.
Yeah.
So Cap is just catatonic. Capatonic? He's not in a good place. Then he gets taken by the like Hydra / Shield agents. Maria Hill, Colby Smulders, Robin Scherbatsky saves the day. Robin Scherbatsky is the MVP of this movie. I'm just going to say it right there.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should all go to the mall in celebration.
she saves the day and then kind of shits on Falcon a little bit.
Mhm.
10 out of 10 cameo.
10 out of 10 cameo. And yeah, we just head into our third act. We get the reveal. Sam Jackson's fine. Yes, he was in a car crash. Yes, he was shot 3 times in the chest. But big whoop, he's fine. He gets up.
There's no reason for him to be dead.
No. He has so many movies to do after this.
He's got too much to do.
So then the team regroups. Falcon's like, you're going to have to decide if you're going to kill your best friend, and then I'll be your new best friend.
An ulterior motive.
Please.
I fully think Anthony Mackie's character is just trying to get Bucky out of the way so he could be the new sidekick to Captain America.
That's their dynamic.
We see that dynamic play out in the Disney Plus series.
Oh yeah, they're both trying to replace the other one.
Truly.
I'm going to say a controversial thing. I think it's dumb that he got his old uniform from the museum. Am I wrong?
I
You seem upset
remarked
with me.
upon this to my girlfriend while watching it because it's like, oh yeah, we need to sell toys. He's got to be back in a suit.
Mhm.
But there is that kind. I guess you can guess that he's like, oh, maybe Bucky will remember me if I'm wearing the same thing. from
Okay.
World War II. And then I'm like, okay, maybe.
That's
Okay.
the connection, yeah. Because
All right.
he has a newer suit, right, than the old suit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
because
I think it's in like a
dope
shield
suit.
locker room.
Okay, yeah, because I was like, "Where's that suit at?" Because it does look a little goofy. It looked normal in Captain America 1 because it's World War II, and that's what he would have. Like that's what they made for him. But for him to walk out with other people who have like this futuristic stuff on, and then he's wearing this old kind of ragtag suit, looks a little goofball. I think it's mostly just the helmet, which is not going to do anything for you. Why do you need to be mad? Everyone knows who you are. Why are you still wearing the mask?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the suit itself is fine. I think the actual clothes are fine. Just not fitted. Not going to show off his tight bod.
Yeah. And maybe that's really where I'm coming from because that's what I want to see. But
Yeah.
honestly, Ben, you've swayed me. It would help Bucky remember because he's been hella brainwashed by Hydra. So this third act is just, rock'em sock'em, as you were saying, Tim, action packed. We get a little shout out for Stephen Strange, future Avenger and future. Really? That's what we cast? That's a conversation for later.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, third act. Anything to say about the third act? About these final fights and this? What do they do? They're trying to like put the ships to fire at each other, like change the little.
They're changing the little chips. They
The
got
little chippies.
The chips, so that rather than firing at all those targets that we were talking about earlier that are all over the globe, they all just
Mhm.
fire at each other. To basically nuke the ships.
Yeah. Over the Potomac.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, they're cool character moments, but it's really all about that final Bucky and Cap.
Yeah.
Oh
See.
yeah. We learned that Black Widow is a big fan of Mission Impossible, the Tom Cruise franchise, because she does a little face mask switcheroo.
Oh yeah.
She got another wig.
Oh yeah. we got to give ScarJo one more wig.
One more wig to deal with.
Yeah, shout out to the High Council or whatever they're called.
Yeah. The World Security Council. Great writing, guys.
R.I.P. R.I.P. to most
Yeah.
of them. They got shocked in the heart, right?
Yeah.
In the heart.
Redford's too late. They give Security Councils a bad name. Cool. And yes. Is there anything we need to say about this? Did I miss it? Like, is it important to say what happened? It's just an action thing, and the ships explode. The ships explode.
They all explode, but you do, as Ben was saying, you get that moment where Bucky is just absolutely pounding on Cap, and then he gets that line, "I'm with you to the end," and then falls into the water. And I personally, I remember, because I hadn't seen this in a bit. I remember being in theater because I remember there was a big rumor around this movie where like they were going to kill off Captain America like now. Like that was the rumor for this, and then Bucky was gonna like become. I was like, how are they gonna do this? So they really did have me like a little bit on the edge of my seat. I was like, oh, this is it. Like he's dead in the water.
Literally.
But then he gets pulled out and everything like that. But it was I remember it being a moment for me in theaters, being like, oh damn, it's already happening. Like they're already. But little did my stupid ass know he's gonna be around for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you stupid ass.
He's gonna be the glue of most of the movies.
Truly. So yeah, and then we get this little montage of Winter Soldier pulls Captain America out of the water, and then we get a little montage where everyone is. Sharon Carter's now with the CIA. Robin Scherbatsky gets a job at Stark Industries where she has to take a lie detector test, I guess. It's all set to The Trouble Man by Marvin Gaye, and then Cap and Falcon have a cute little moment in the hospital on your left. And
the Bucky plot is completely not resolved. I forgot that like nothing happens with Bucky in this movie. He like kind of is like, oh, it's like my homie, and then like he bails. Mm-hmm. So it's really not the Winter Soldier the movie. It's Captain America takes down Shield the movie.
Yeah, which again, if you're watching Agents of Shield, this is a great moment.
The jumping on point. Okay.
Yeah, start in episode 16 of season 1 and skip seasons 2 through 4, and then 5 is great. Okay. I really mean it. So yeah, and then you get like final moments. Everybody, Nick Fury is quote unquote dead, and he goes into hiding. And then Cap and Falcon are like, "Let's keep going. Yeah. Where do we start to find your friend?"
But it's gonna have to wait until there's an army of robots in Avengers 2. We have to deal with that first.
That is
so
true.
bummed out. I'm so bummed out. What a great movie that was followed by a bad movie.
Yeah, it's also like this movie answers all the questions about why they shouldn't build an army of robots.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like, Cap already settled this. Don't do that, and don't create Ultron. It's like, okay.
Don't create Ultron. Don't do that. Don't build an army of robots. But I do want you to build your answers for our favorite segment of This Week and Every Week. Fuck, Marry, Kill. Here we are at long last. Mm-hmm. We're gonna do this Fuck, Marry, Kill. The people up for Fuck, Marry, Kill this week are, of course, Captain America, and he's up there with Black Widow and Sam Wilson's The Falcon. I will go first to give my guests time to think. Man, my kill for this week. I don't trust the wigs. I don't trust her sneaky behavior. She's just not solid enough for me to kind of lock in. So I'm going to be killing Black Widow. I'm sorry. I probably will just give her some poison bubblegum and she'll go down. My fuck pick for the week is going to be Falcon. I've been with this type of man before. I know what this type of man is.
Yeah, paratroopers. You met one, you met them all.
Yeah.
You met them all. And I'm just like, yeah, this is a one and done situation. And there it is. I think, to be frank, I think it would be a little boring. But for a night, I can do a night. And I'm going to marry the Captain America. What a hero. What a conflicted man. I would love to just marry him and talk about all the conflicts he feels internally and hopefully help him work through some of it. And also share with him other things he missed while he was frozen. Those are my picks. Let's go to Tim Lyons. Who do you got?
Similar but different. I will say that I would also probably kill Black Widow. A little too sneaky. Feel like kill her before she kills me. I feel like if we had sex,
Truly.
she'd kill me afterwards. She'd be like, that wasn't good. I'm going to save other women the trouble. You're dead. Then I would fuck Captain America.
Ooh.
Because he's absolutely gorgeous, and he just. I also feel, and I would say that I think the reasons that you would marry him are the reasons that I would fuck him, because I feel like there'd be a lot of work there, and it'd be a little one-sided because he's lived a life in a different time, and he also has a love lost. So I feel like there's a lot of.
Right.
You're picking up a lot of slack that I feel like you would be filling a void that might not be able to be filled.
Okay. I don't know why I have to judge my choices, but
I have to. and then I would marry the Falcon, because I think there's loyalty there, there's friendship there, there's a life living in the same time period there. I think is important. And yeah, I think there's just like he just seems like a nice guy, right? Just seems like a good guy.
Seems like a good guy. Very nice. Yeah. Comedian extraordinaire Ben Cumings.
Wait for this wacky answer. I would also marry the Falcon, because you know what? Nice guy. He takes care of himself. He drinks OJ after going on a strenuous run. I like Washington, D.C. I'll live with him there. That's an easy pick for me.
You like Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's not the worst city in the U.S. It's not Boston. Where
most of our listeners are.
Oh no! I would definitely. You gotta fuck Black Widow. She's an international woman of mystery who knows all the secrets of the seductive arts. So you gotta try that at least once.
Such a man answer.
I know.
Oh, of course I would fuck the hot woman.
This is the most dude answer of them all. I'd kill Captain America. I'd give him the sweet release that he wants. I'd let him be in heaven with Peggy. The world doesn't need you anymore.
Wow,
the world doesn't need Captain America. It doesn't need the United States of America.
And the agenda is revealed.
There it is.
Hail Hydra.
Hail Hydra.
I'd definitely be fucking Black Widow for sure. Yeah.
For sure.
All right. He is literally flexing.
I gotta do her a favor, you know what I'm saying?
Gotta do her a real favor. Cool. I'd love to end on toxicity. That's what we like on Podcast 616. Tim Lyons, if I wanted to find you on the internet, where could I find you?
Gosh, you could find me on Twitter at Tim Lyons. You can watch me stream some games at Thirst Trap Tim on Twitch. Should I plug anything else here, or is it just the internet stuff?
You can plug whatever you want. This should be up on the 17th of October.
Love it. Well, this is Evergreen. Listen to my podcast, Improv is Dead, on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Hell yes, it's a great podcast. I think I've been a guest.
Damon's been on a few times, yeah.
Anyway, Ben Cumings, where can we find you?
You can find me at Ben Cumings, BenCumings, just the one M, on Twitter and Instagram. And if this is October 17th, in 2 days, if you're in Los Angeles, you can come see me at the Pack Theater at 9 p.m. on October 19th doing a sketch show. Which will be a good one. Halloween themed.
Ooh. Love Halloween. And sketch.
That'll be funny. I'm the first guy to write a funny Dracula.
I'm proud of you. This is Podcast 616. You can find us on Twitter at Podcast. Podcast 616 P3. That P3 stands for Press Play Productions, the network that gives me permission to do this. Those fools. You can follow me, Damon, on Twitter and Instagram at DaymanRoyster. It's DaymanRoyster88 on Twitter. That's DaymanRoyster. And you need to take care. That's all I've got for now. Producer Michael, if you want to hop on the mic real quick, what letter grade would you give this podcast?
This one is an A+ for sure.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Huge.
Okay. All right. All's forgiven, everybody. We got the grade.
Just like the movie.
Just like the movie.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Michael. And thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with the last Captain America movie. And the whole reason we're doing this is because Black Panther gets introduced at the end of the third Captain America. So it's a long build up to, we're trying to get to Wakanda Forever, everybody. But Civil War is next week. And until then, don't forget that with great power comes even greater responsibility.